So if you want to prevent many of the most common running related injuries and you want to help create more stability as you run, you want to feel more powerful and more stable as you run, then you need to strengthen this one muscle that is weak in 99% of runners. And I've seen this over the last 15 years of working with clients. This muscle, the glute medius muscle, is weak in virtually every single person that I see. I'm going to get into the details of the muscle, and I'm going to get into the details of how we can strengthen it. I'm going to show the exercises, so let's get into this video. So if you locate your hip bone and then you just go up slightly and then back, this sort of strip area here is the area of the glute medius muscles. Now this muscle, it seems like a little small strip, but it's incredibly important in hip stabilization. So what that basically means is as we run and we go through stance phase and single leg phase, we don't get that hip dropping, so we keep the hips nice and stable and relatively level. If we're getting that hip dropping, we can get a lot of issues going on in the hip and in the lower back area, the QL muscle, and also we can get a knee valgus, which means the knee could turn in like this. Now that's going to cause a whole host of issues in the foot and the ankle and in this thigh and IT band area as well. So creating a really strong glute medius area is going to help keep your pelvis level. It's going to help create that good, strong, stable pelvis and activating the correct muscles, so we're not getting compensations and injuries in other areas of the body as we go through stance phase, which is basically one leg. We're standing on one leg to the other. And this is where strength training comes in. Now I know as runners we love to run and that's all we do, and some runners they do strength training but they focus on their upper body. They think that running will just be enough to strengthen their lower body, but what we need to do is specific targeted exercises to help prevent. So we're doing prehab before we need to do the rehab effectively. And you don't need to go to the gym and spend hours at the gym. I know it's not the most fun place for us runners. We would much rather prefer to be out running than being at the gym or being at home and doing strength exercises, but strength exercises are absolutely essential and they are what's going to keep you injury free and keep you running for longer. So see them as a vital part and an essential part of our running routine. So getting a step and practicing a hip drop exercise is actually going to work on that exact muscle that we want to do. So we're lowering the heel down as if we're coming to touch towards the floor, and you can feel that area start to extend and we're having to squeeze back up. So we're getting that nice work right into that hip area. So with this, again, you can do it body weight. You can do 10 to 15 reps for 3 sets. You can then add in some weights, again, to progress the exercise. So you can do modified side planks, so stack the knees on top of each other, and you can hold this position. So holding it isometrically is going to work into that area. Also going to get extra core work. You can then maybe progress onto moving with that, so some thrusts with that. And then progressing from there, you could go into full side plank, stacking the feet on top. And again, from there, you can then progress that, doing some thrusts in that full side plank. And then progressing it further, you could go to elevating that heel. And again, trying to turn the toes down so we get good activation. And you're getting good activation of both of those glute medius muscles there. Another great exercise would be the side lying heel raise, trying to turn those toes slightly down and kicking that heel slightly back as well, so we get really good activation. We can then progress this again by going up, like side plank version of this, like there. We can then also progress it by adding a band. So you could do it banded, lying down first, or then you could elevate the hip again, and same thing, squeezing up nice and high, nice and smooth, turning those toes slightly down. You could also progress to going into that full side plank with the elevation and squeezing or isometrically holding. Also the standing variation of this, where you hold and push into the wall, try and keep the head nice and still and squeezing, again kicking that heel out, trying to keep that toe slightly turned in and keep kicking that heel slightly back. Again, we can go for 10 to 15 for 3 sets on each side. And then we've also got the banded walk variation, so we could go round the ankles or around the feet or around the thighs with the band, get the feet nice and wide, keep that good resistance in the band, and as we move left and right, we're getting really good activation in the glutes and glute medius area as we walk from side to side. Again, you can count reps on there. You can do 10 to 15 on each side, or you could do that for 45 seconds. And we're trying to get at least 3 sets. So if you was to ask yourself, how many of those exercises do you actually incorporate into your weekly strength training routine? And then you can see how maybe I aren't getting enough of this really specific targeted strength training for my body. I need to start incorporating some of these exercises into my weekly routine. So what you can do is you can start to incorporate those exercises yourself, or I do have an actual glute medius video that's coming out with alongside as a companion with this video, a strength training routine workout for the glute medius area, so you can follow along with that. Or if you need a little bit more guidance, again, you can contact me. Have a look in the link in the description below if you're wanting to work with me as your coach. So there you have it, the glute medius muscle, one of the most important, if not the most important muscle that we need to be strengthening as runners. So try and start incorporating some strength training for your glute medius and watch how your body becomes stronger, more stable, your runs become better, and ultimately you start to become less injury prone. So there you have it. It's not just about going to the gym for the sake of it or turning up for your strength training and just doing any strength training. If we are a little bit more specific and target the correct areas, it will help us prevent injuries. It will make our body more stronger. We will improve our running, and ultimately we will run better. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this. Which one is the hardest for you? Do you train these type of exercises? Give this video a thumbs up and a comment. Well done for showing up and putting some more information into your running brain so that you can ultimately, again, run better. You will have more knowledge on the key areas to focus on. So well done, and I shall see you in the next video.